people listening to our first live broadcast. This
got
is
my American Mule.
American Mule. I have my gigantic Sam 76.
Mexican style. It's got tequila.
So
Wait,
this
we
is
should cheers and then drink again.
yeah. Hold on. So this is the framing, just so you can kind of see.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be fine.
That's good.
So I'm gonna leave this here so I can just kind of see if anybody comments.
Okay.
But obviously, I would like to be staring into your beautiful eyes during this conversation. So
I can't blame you.
We actually enjoy this. Cheers to a very hopefully fun, successful first live recording using some weird equipment. We have this like really bizarre setup today where we're using some musical equipment instead of normal podcasting thing. Will and I had an opportunity to sit down together, record in person because I had to absolutely positively come up here with some awesome new materials.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the size of this thing. I know you guys probably can't see it that well, but this thing is huge. Tom, I'm sure you would appreciate this this piece of equipment that Drew has backpacked his way here.
It is a Tascam DP 01FX/CD.
I'm surprised you didn't have to look like 8 times to...
Well, yeah, it's a big serial number. And it has a 40 gigabyte hard drive, 40 gigabytes, and a CD burner in it. It is an 8-track recorder. You can arm and record 2 tracks at a time. And we are using a Samson condenser mic and a Shure SM58 on Will's side. Honestly, I needed the bass a little bit more than Will did, and this microphone seems to be doing the job. So, everybody, you're listening to episode 44 of the Will and Drew Gaming Retrospective. Thanks for tuning in. Man,
we're rolling this thing out.
What's that?
We're live.
Yeah.
We're live. Let's just go right in.
Yeah, man. So,
what's on the table?
Well, we got these really cool cards.
Yes.
I just knocked one of them over.
That's okay.
But for those of you that are going to be at New York Comic Con this weekend, I will be handing these out on Saturday. And I'm very excited about these because they feature a new logo that's been in the works for some time. Mm-hmm. A really cool controller design, which I have no idea if anybody's going to actually see this on camera, so I'll take some photos of it.
Yeah, kind of like my socks. I don't know if you guys can see that.
I never dreamed you'd be shaking a
like
leg.
I'm pointing my foot like a ballerina, just like
Will's shaking a leg. I got my boots on.
Yep. I wore these specifically for today, this evening's episode. Actually, I should say.
But man, I'm super stoked about these. We've been working with a guy by the name of Mike Tubiak, who has done a ton of logo work for me in the past, and he always knocks it out of the park. And we have these like really great like business cards that have WDGR for the direction pad, and then it looks like an NES controller. And then of course on the back we have all kinds of information, including a brand new website, which is going to be officially launching on Friday. But it's gonna have a mixture of content, man. We got a great place to host not host the podcast, but make it easy to, access the podcast. We also have blogs we're going to be doing, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, no, we're super pumped. I'm seeing the card for the first time in person as of this evening, and they're pretty amazing. So I'm really looking forward to the impact that they're going to have.
Yeah,
I think they're going to have a pretty large one. So
yeah, this is exciting, man. Everybody that I've shown it to so far has like reacted very positively to it. So it's I'm looking forward to distributing this to anybody that'll take one at Comic-Con.
100%. And if you guys have been listening from the start, Drew and I, came up with this idea essentially, was it back at Barcade? I think that we originally discussed it, which was 2-3 years ago or something?
Originally, yeah. And it's been about a year since we've actually started it, roughly.
Yeah.
I can go back and look at the date for the first episode, but it's been almost a year.
Yeah, and then I think it was game day or game night that you had left, and it was in our driveway here, or my driveway, that we kind of just said, fuck it, let's start this thing. Yeah. And here we are, and now we're doing this is our third actual in-person podcast, minus, if you don't count Tom, it would be second, but overall we've done 3 episodes in person total.
Yeah. And hopefully with this gigantic hulking piece of equipment we'll be able to do more. I do need to find a way to record more than 2 people at a time, though.
We should maybe take turns, you just leave this anchor here so that way you don't have to lug this thing home, because this thing is really heavy. And then I bring it back to you,
Yeah.
and it's like everybody just like passes like the sword, because this thing, my God, it's got to weigh like at least 20-30 pounds. I don't know, maybe not
Yeah,
20.
yeah, it's dense.
10 to 15. Let's just leave it at that.
It's pretty dense.
And the box is huge. The box is like equivalent to like what you would find a receiver or like a sound amplifier being boxed in. And we're using it right now to prop up the camera.
It's an excellent camera stand. The so like my mom bought this like 15 years ago, and when she bought this was the hot shit.
Yeah, and it still kind of looks cool. I mean, like I said, it's kind of a monstrosity. Like it's really big.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's got a hard drive, you said it's got like a CD player in there.
Burner. I can actually
CD burner.
So this thing is designed to like literally record and master an entire album,
which is pretty incredible. It really does look like a massive studio just shrunken down into just like this giant box thing. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'd like to learn how to like use it for music at some point.
Yeah. And it feels good. Like it feels pretty quality too. Like there's really nothing about it that feels cheap. So
yeah. So man, what have you been playing these days?
Gosh, Strider.
Yeah.
A lot of Strider. I am almost done with the game. There's this one part that I told you about before that is basically like you just have to fight this wave of enemies before you finally get to the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
That part's really challenging enough to make me want to just break something.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to do that. And when I get stressed out, I've been actually circling back to Skyrim, believe it or not. So I've been veering off of my plan to, beat a short game and move on to the next shortest game. That's still in practice and in motion, but Skyrim is such a good game to just kind of fizzle off into and not have to worry about getting stressed, because that game really doesn't stress me out. So.
Skyrim like kind of strikes me as your safety blanket.
It really is. That game makes me very happy.
Yeah.
As Marie Kondo would say, does it spark joy? It definitely does. That game sparks a lot of joy, and hence why I have one of the Pixel Pals. We got Dragonborn over here that you guys might not be able to see.
Completely hidden by your laptop.
Yeah, but besides those two games, I can't think of much else I've been playing. I've been trying to be very strict, like I said, with sticking with the game that I'm currently on, and then moving on from there.
Right. I haven't been too good at that, but I haven't had a ton of time to game. The past week or so, I've been working a lot on getting the website up and running and try to do that.
And the cards,
And the cards. So the last time we spoke, I was talking about Control a lot, and I think I put a little bit more time into that, but most of my gaming time has gone to Untitled Goose Game.
Which I actually had the pleasure of checking out for about 10-15 minutes, and it's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
It's you're playing this rude ass goose.
Yeah.
Right? And you're just bothering people. You're trying to sneak into a garden, sneak keys away from the groundskeeper. It's exactly what I thought, and so much more. So I can't wait to piss people off and feel better about my day when I eventually get this game.
There's this one scene where you go into like a city street, right? And there's this kid walking around, and he's got like a toy airplane on a bench, and he's utterly terrified of the goose, like completely terrified. And nearby, there's a phone booth. There's a TV store. There's a like an outdoor market with a woman that keeps like sweeping and stuff. And one of the tasks is to have it just tells you to sell somebody's property back to them, but it doesn't tell you who or what. So you go over and you're looking around, and every time you enter the shopkeeper area, she tries to chase you away with a broom. Like she comes at you, like swinging this broom wildly, right? And you notice that, okay, there's like some fruits and vegetables, there's some cleaning products, there's some toys. Some of the toys look like an airplane. So you scare the kid away. You go up to him and you just like honk at him, and he just goes running away. And you can chase him into this phone booth.
Yeah, you can honk at people.
He'll close and lock the phone booth door. And when he's in that phone booth, you run over, you grab his toy, and you put it on the shelf next to the other toys. So he's looking around for this toy. He can't find it. And finally he realizes that it's in the pile with all the other toys. And he goes over to the shopkeeper and tries to take it back, and she catches him and she yells at him, and she makes him pay for it.
I'm not surprised. Just like,
so
her coming out with the broom, that's so expected. But, that's what you want to see in a game like this. I mean, even just the body language of this goose just represents like sarcasm and just, ultimately just rude.
He waddles, man. He's got like this, like...
And like, even just like turning on the sprinkler and like pissing off the groundskeeper, like as you're walking by the fence, as he's coming out to turn it off, you can see like the body language and the goose just kind of like looking back like, yeah, I did that, but like, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. Like, and I love that. That's like one of the first things I noticed about the game. Like there's a sense of like personality in this goose.
Ton of personality. There's all kinds of like really like hidden things too. Like you could put like when you could pick up like a glass bottle and the glass bottle's on your beak. And when you honk into it, it sounds like it's through a glass bottle.
It might sound like one of your sneezes, like when you're trying to mute your mic.
Oh, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess you can get like a harmonica. Too.
Yeah.
And it does, like anytime you're holding something that would affect like your honk, it actually does. Which is such like a minor thing, but I think it like makes a difference,
Yeah. There seems to be, a couple minor details in that game that they paid attention to. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if I ran into something and the goose kind of like looked and, you could kind of feel as though you ran into something, but you can tell that they paid attention to some subtleties within the game. So it's not just, walking around as some random, goose that has no kind of movement or anything or very limited movement. Like it's quite well done.
Yeah. For $15, it's worth it. I can't recommend it enough. It's a short game. It's only got a few hours of gameplay, but it's worth it.
That's cool.
So
that Control.
That's really been about it. And really just this week, it's really just been Untitled Goose Game. I've played video games for maybe 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, it's a popular game. A lot of people are talking about this game right now.
It's on a lot of podcasts right now.
Yeah.
So I do kind of feel like a bit of a copycat, but I also feel like it's something that definitely needs to be talked about because it is very original.
Is the studio, is it House or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so just some no-name...
I think this is their first game.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think it's their first game.
This kind of circles back to like Flappy Bird. It could be one of those kind of situations where it's like super simple game, premise.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of taken off and people are just realizing that sometimes simplicity, goes a long way.
There's a lot more into this than just Flappy Bird. So.
Yeah, that's true.
We got a comment in the Instagram from VT3 Wani. Vincey, what's up, boys? How's it going, buddy?
Going well, man. We're happy to do this. I've got my my Evo Moment T-shirt on. Happy to represent my Nintendo socks.
Super Bree was in before too, and she made a comment about one of your Metal Gear posters, but I accidentally exited out, and now I can't find her comment anymore.
Oh.
So, but I don't think she's in the room. Bree, if you're in the room, what was the comment that you said before about the...
She might have recognized them because these two right here, I actually got at Comic-Con.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were from, I can't remember the artist, but I'm pretty sure that she or Joe bought something from that booth as well.
Was it last year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was the year I went, right?
Well, was that the only time you went?
Ever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they were there, and I'm pretty sure that they got something from that booth as well. I just can't remember the name of the artist.
Okay. I didn't realize they were there that year. I mean, I wouldn't have known them at that point anyway, but...
Yeah. Come to think of it, it's actually just the bottom one. The top one is Dark Souls, the bottom one is Metal Gear, along with the left, and then we have X-Men versus Street Fighter, Drive, and then Street Fighter.
Vituani also says, I'm liking the pictures and the shirt.
Cool.
So... I'm assuming he doesn't like my shirt because I can't see it. It's an Atari.
He's like, I've seen that one a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah, this actually got from TeePublic, really cool site for all of you guys that are into video game merchandise, especially T-shirts, teepublic.com. I cannot recommend them enough. They make great quality T-shirts.
They do.
And ton of video game stuff, so...
I need to buy more T-shirts. Like, I have a ton of T-shirts, so I actually need to get rid of T-shirts, but then I need to buy more.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't borrow anything from Vic, but, I mean, this guy has more T-shirts than anyone, like, in terms of video game T-shirts. He just keeps buying them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's got a ton.
Yeah, so we had some stuff in the Discord room. You want to hit up the mailbag?
We did. Let's take a look. Let's wake this thing up. I got to do my Touch ID.
Oh, you got a fingerprint thing.
Fancy stuff.
All right, so I'm
let's
gonna
just
leave.
rotate this.
I'm gonna leave this to you to read.
So Vortex Vic had a question from, I believe, last week for this week's podcast.
Yes.
And he says, question for next podcast. This is more for Drew since Will already has them. What 3 game tattoos would you ever get? I know Will has 2 I know of, so he can answer that for the 3rd. I had a weird effing dream / nightmare about getting tattooed, and this is how the question came about. So I'll start this off. I have 4 tattoos. 2 of them are not game related. They're kind of shitty tattoos I want to get removed, but that's another story. The 2 that I have, you guys will not be able to see that clearly, but this is Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3, and then we have Asura from Asura's Wrath. So some of you guys know that, but yeah, I cherish these a lot because they mean a lot to me. In terms of a 3rd, I have a lot of ideas. Some of them are not video game related.
Yeah.
One of them is like a movie thing. But if it was video game, I know I wanted to get another character in like a bust format above Asura, and he's part of the same game. His name is Yasha, so he's a pretty significant character in that same game. So originally I was going to get him above Asura, but the expense of this tattoo really bottomed me out, so I took a break. But he might be planned for the future, so that would be, I guess, a 3rd.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, and now I know that you thought about this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've had like this really like burning desire to get like a badass Star Trek tattoo, like in the same spot you have yours.
Yeah, you should do like the Borg.
Well, I was thinking something more like the Delta, the logo, the arch that they have with like some kind of like really cool like starry background that wraps around the whole sleeve.
And then you could do the Borg ship. Which is like a square, right?
Yeah, I'm not putting a Borg on my arm.
I'm just obsessed with the Borg, folks. So, I have memories of First Contact and
great movie. I mean, listen, the Borg are like amongst my favorite villains, but I would not commit them to my body.
You don't want a sort of Rubik's cube kind of tattoo on your arm.
And then as far as like, so that's one idea, and then there's an album cover from a band called Porcupine Tree. And they have a cover of like a greatest hits compilation, sort of, but not really because they didn't have any hits that era. But it's a 2-disc set that covers like a very specific time in their history, and it's like this. It's a picture. It's like this blue background, and it has like a lake with like a bridge over it, and there's a piano falling from the sky, and the piano is on fire.
That's right. I did see that album cover. I think you shared it recently.
Yeah, I posted that when everybody was talking about the tattoos on the Discord. And yeah, man, it was something that just like really struck with me, and I really dug. Lady Crystalline, hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping into the live broadcast. We appreciate you swinging by.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's something I'd like to do too. But video game related, I got to go with like Mass Effect N7.
Yeah.
I got to go with maybe Doom, something Doom related.
Okay.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Mass Effect, either the N7 or some kind of a combination of the Renegade Paragon logo. What else?
You could even do like kind of harkening back to like some of the original Dooms with the sort of pixelated graphics.
Yeah.
You could do like one of those like monster floating demon head things. What are they called?
Oh, the Cacodemons.
Yeah, you could do something like that in like a pixel format, and if it's done right, it actually looks really good. I've seen somebody who's pretty famous on YouTube. Yeah, he did a bunch of the Mario like question mark like box things or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like where you jump up into them. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. Question boxes.
Question boxes. He did all of those like all over his arm, and he did it in that sort of pixelated format.
That's cool.
Looked really good.
I've seen some like 3D art too, like with the pixels. Like, it looks like it's popping out of your arm or something.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
And I know Bree's got some really cool video game tattoos.
She had shared a bunch of those. In the chat the other day too. So swing by the Discord. Let us know what kind of tattoos you have. If you have any gaming related tattoos, like to see some photos of that kind of stuff.
Definitely. Yeah.
Vinci also asked what kind of games you recommend for travel. He just got a new computer, a new laptop.
Yeah, like a tablet, right?
Yeah, well, it's a Surface.
A Surface, that's what it is. So games for travel.
Yeah, and Crystal also calls them question boxes.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think they really have like a real name.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, games for travel. I mean, you're not too up to date on the PC side.
Not really, no.
But so this is kind of tough. Goose Game. It's available on PC.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Yeah, for me. Just not even the fact that I'm like not really a PC gamer, but like just because I don't travel much. A and B, like even if I did, I'm not really sure like if I have like a list or even like a top 3 games that I would play while traveling.
Right.
I would just say the Switch. That's just kind of a cop out here for this answer, but the Switch would be my ultimate travel game thing,
I mean, my idea of travel games I think are going to be a lot different than his, just knowing his gaming history, So it's kind of tough for me to say. Like, I would recommend games like FTL or Into the Breach, which are very much they can be very bite-sized games, but I don't think he'd ever play those.
Well, Vinci, if you're still on the air here with us, I know you're a big Witcher fan, especially the 3rd game, I believe. So, again, kind of going back to the Switch, I feel like I could see Vinci playing The Witcher 3 on the Switch, which I'm pretty sure it's available.
It's coming out soon.
Or
the Switcher.
So, I was going to say, if they really like switch the name, oh my God, there's another fucking pun. Unfucking believable. Anyway, I could see him actually playing that game on the Switch on the go while traveling.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of what I know him to be playing right now. I mean, I don't really know what you play, Vinci. He's a big PC gamer. I know he's big into his custom rigs. So.
Yeah. Anything like the Surface is a pretty powerful machine, so anything you can play on the Surface or anything you can play on the gaming rig, you could probably play on the Surface, maybe at a lower quality, but it'll still be there.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think of that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's hit the. We got some more questions in here. Oh yeah, Vortex with Rake in the Lake. Yeah, fucking love that game.
That's a game?
No, it's part of Goose Game.
Oh, okay.
Rake in the Lake. So there's this wonderful video that he linked in the Discord a couple days ago. It's this YouTube guy, Dunkey.
Never heard of him.
He's hilarious.
Dunkey.
Dunkey.
Okay.
And he records and does like just ridiculous commentary over the stuff. And I'll show you the video tonight because you'll laugh your ass off and you'll be going around saying Rake in the Lake, Rake in the Lake, Rake in the Lake, just in the middle of the day for no reason.
Kind of like sweet, sweet lemonade.
Better. It's better.
Better than that.
I think it's better than that. I think that got killed for me. That just got destroyed. And it wasn't just one person that did it. It was a lot of people.
Okay. But yeah. Because I can think of one person.
Yeah. We both can. But yeah, so he did a video on Untitled Goose Game, and it's just commentary of like him being the goose, and it's hilarious. So I'll show you that later. I'll drop a link for it either on our Twitter or Instagram too, so you can check it out. Crystal, I think you really dig it. It's hilarious, absolutely fantastic. What else we got here?
So Bree, I don't really know how to position this, but I mean, it's not really video game related.
It's a question,
but
she wants to get to know us better.
Yeah, I'm just giving her a hard time. Chunky or creamy peanut butter? This is actually a really good question.
I think this ties into a conversation that we had earlier this evening.
This is almost like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, it's a pretty hard thing to decide, at least for me. And the reason why is because I kind of like both. I think there's a time and place for crunchy and smooth peanut butter.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd probably say smooth.
I think like 9 times out of 10, I want smooth peanut butter.
Yeah, it's a little bit more versatile.
But there's always that one time where you just feel like
a little crunch.
You just need a little crunch.
Yeah, especially if you make like a PB&J or just a regular PB sandwich.
Or sometimes just a spoonful of like crunch.
You just want a little crunch in there. It's been a while actually that I've had crunchy peanut butter. What would you say is your peanut butter brand of choice?
So
if you say Peter Pan, I'm going to strangle you.
It's not Peter Pan.
Okay.
I am a natural Skippy guy.
That's a popular choice.
And it's, if you look at it, it's got 2 ingredients in it.
Yeah, it's
peanuts and like oil.
And like corn.
No, I don't even think there's corn. Actually, it might just have peanuts.
I bet you there's corn in there somewhere.
Then they're lying on the label.
Well, here's the thing about peanut butter, just without going off topic. When you look at peanut butter, there's a lot of choices. peanut butter is pretty unhealthy because most peanut butter is not really like natural. It's like basically peanut butter like formula or like I don't know. It's like a spread, which definitely is like an indication that it's not real.
Right.
But we all know that if you go to real peanut butter, it's got like an inch of oil on the top, right? That you got to put a wooden spoon in there. You got to try not to make a mess. You got to stir it all up, and it's just not quite the same. So that's my thoughts on peanut butter.
I like almond butter, but not for the same types. Good. You can't have it for the same types of things. Vency said in the chat, too, by the way, he's playing Gears 5 currently. Just reminded him to pick up Link's Awakening for the Switch and then Jedi Fallen Order for the PC. So he's all set. Also, he likes his nuts crunchy. But I think that's not even the same topic.
Yeah, Link, it's not. We could go off on a tangent on that one and get our minds in the gutter real quick.
Back to the mailbag.
So we have Kami.
Kami backwards. I don't know. YMMOC.
So has hype or popularity ever stopped you buying a game? I was pretty interested in Untitled Goose Game as it was being developed. And if it had been released quietly to no fanfare, I probably would have bought it. But I've now seen countless videos and GIFs of its gameplay, and I feel the novelty has worn off. And for a game that seems based around novelty, that's a problem for me. Okay. I can relate to this in the fact that I think what you're saying here is that a lot of games that get popular get kind of bandwagony and they get popular very quickly, and the novelty wears off quickly.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. I'm with you on that. Now that I've played the game, I think that I could push that aside and still enjoy the game. It seems to be a larger problem for you, based on what you said. However, I mean, I could do a real deep dive on this. I mean, what are your thoughts, Drew?
It's tough because it depends on the game. It depends on the genre. It depends on the hype. A game like Untitled Goose Game, I was interested in it when I saw it, and I wasn't going to let anybody's hype stop me from getting that game. But I also tend to kind of shut myself out from the media if there's something like I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
And it gives me an opportunity to kind of when the game comes out, like it's kind of fresh to me, and I can kind of take in with a brand new look.
Yep.
But when they like announced this game was coming out, I'm like, all right, I'm buying this. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing could be said about Doom Eternal. There's a lot of people that are super hyped about that, but I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let.
You're a Doom fan regardless,
right.
So like you don't have to worry about whether or not like everybody's playing it. And they're all giving it 10s, and then you don't feel like it's a 10. Like at the end of the day, you're gonna play it regardless. So.
Right. And like there's certain games I think that maybe I might not feel the same way about. So like Gears of War 5 I think was pretty hyped, and I got burned out on the hype on that for a while ago. So even though that's a game that I've historically played in the past, I really had no interest in picking up the new one.
I mean, I could say, reading the first part of the question here, has hyper popularity ever stopped you from playing a game? I would say now it has, because circling back to our last episode, I know I said on there that now I'm starting to realize, like, if a game's super popular and I'm not interested, I'm no longer going to fall into that anymore. I'm going to make my own decision and say, you know what? I know it's popular, but it still doesn't look like it's for me. So with that being said, I would say, yes, popularity now more frequently has made me not want to buy certain games.
Right.
But it depends. It depends, because Untitled Goose Game, I'm probably going to buy that game, and it's fucking really popular. So.
And it's $15.
But I played it, so.
Right. What else we got? Joe Donuts. I can't read it from here. It's all you.
Okay. Ended up picking up a Switch Lite. Really impressed with it so far. There are things I wish it had. OLED screen, less bezel, HDMI, Bluetooth, better handling of game. Does it say handling? It says handing, but I think he meant handling of game sharing. But between the form factor and the library, it might just dethrone the Vita in my eyes. That's a bold statement coming from Joe. He's a big Vita fan.
Yeah.
What would you guys consider the most important features if you were to design your own ultimate handheld?
That OLED screen on the Vita is pretty fucking sweet
and kind of unbeatable. I don't know if we've seen a handheld yet. Again, kind of going back to last episode, I think we touched on this.
It has the best looking screen as far as I'm concerned, period.
I think it really
does. The Switch
does.
is nice.
It's very nice.
Switch is very nice.
It's a huge jump over the Wii U handheld part.
Yeah.
Which I have that sitting over there, and it's not great. It's passable, but it's nowhere near the quality of the Switch. But yeah, I think you're right, man. The Vita OLED, it's the best I think we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that would be a number one for me if I were to create an ultimate handheld OLED screen. Pretty sizable, so maybe kind of comparable to the Switch.
Yeah, I definitely need something that's comfortable in my hands.
Yeah.
I think the Joy-Cons themselves are maybe...
touch small.
I think if they had wings in the bottom, kind of like the Pro Controller does, or like an Xbox controller. And I know they just came out with a Joy-Con that has that wing is meant for people with larger hands, and apparently it's pretty good. A better D-pad, I think, is crucial. There really hasn't been a good D-pad on a handheld in a long time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't really think of one.
I'm trying to think of what else.
I mean, just kind of touching back on having something that's better for somebody who has bigger hands is huge. I mean, you and I have had issues with handhelds with our hands.
I mean, I have these massive hands. They're so big.
So you get those sort of cramped, you get that cramped feeling, and it just feels like you're playing it like this.
Yeah.
And that's not that enjoyable. The Switch is pretty good. I feel fairly good with that.
Yeah.
Or comfortable rather, but I'm with you, man. A lot of these handhelds, even the Vita, it's pretty crunched.
Yeah.
It's crunched. It's not
crunchy Vita.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. As you can see, Drew is hijacking this podcast once again.
I'm trying to find a good name.
Yeah, I know. We've got quite a few already. But yeah, I don't know, man. Just comfort.
Yep.
Good ergonomics, an OLED screen.
Yeah.
I guess that's about it. Something that doesn't get too hot. I know certain handhelds, you can hear fans, you can hear motors. I believe the PSP original had you could feel a lot of disc movement and stuff, which is fine, but I don't know, man. The Switch might be the closest thing to the perfect or ultimate handheld so far.
I think the appeal of the Switch, for the most part, for me, is the ability to play on my TV screen or handheld.
It's a great feature.
And I know the Switch Lite kind of takes away half of that, But
I think it really answers. Well, it answers, I think, obviously the people that never docked it, right?
Yeah, so and I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of people that never did.
Yeah, maybe they did a survey, or they just found out statistically based on customer feedback that there's a good percentage that we're just not docking this thing.
Right. I mean, honestly, the majority of my playtime with it has been handheld, but having the freedom to dock it is not lost on me, and it's something I do use. When I inevitably pick up Breath of the Wild, the first time I play that is going to be on a 65-inch television. It's not going to be in handheld mode.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder, if the Switch Lite was kind of planned from the beginning, because if you circle back to the marketing and the advertisements for the original Switch, it was people fell in love with this, the whole, remember, the commercials were click, click, switch, and it was it was very big into, we're going to dock this thing, we're going to undock it, and it's this is how this thing works. And now that you have the Lite, it's did Nintendo have a change of heart, or they're oh shit, we got to cater to the people that don't dock this thing? Is that them backpedaling, or did they have this thing planned from the get-go?
I don't know if it's necessarily backpedaling, because I see a lot of people buying the Lite that already have the full Switch,
which is
and I think the idea of being able to share games and transfer cloud saves from one to the next, so that you're never if you have a game downloaded digitally on both of them, you could, bring the Lite with you to work, play it, and then save your game. And if you're connected to Wi-Fi, that'll upload to the cloud, and it'll automatically be available on your docked Switch at home when you get there. So then you just pick up your Pro Controller or whatever, and you start playing.
So it's similar to the PS4 feature. I know that's
Xbox
I love that
does
feature.
It too.
Love that feature. You could be at work, buy a game, download it to your PlayStation. Now, it has to be in sleep mode, right? These consoles have to be on...
I believe so.
I think they have to be in sleep mode, and there's a couple options in the settings that I believe also have to be on. Right. if all that stuff is tuned correctly, it's a pretty amazing feature that they actually implemented quite some time ago.
So we got another question in the Instagram chat here from V20. Thoughts on ID games on Xbox? I feel like the older Xbox had better games and more expansive than current gen. Do you guys play any? I'm not sure if I do. I mean, you don't have an Xbox, so this is kind of a tough one for you to answer. But
ID games?
Yeah, so it's like independent games. I've always wanted to play Ori and the Blind Forest. I have it downloaded as a Games Pass game, but I haven't fired it up yet. I'm not sure if that falls under the ID games.
I actually do have that game on PC.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have it.
They just made it available for Switch last week.
They did. It was originally an Xbox One only game. I know that for sure. Then it came out on PC, and now we're looking at the Switch. But I don't think it's ever hitting Sony stuff.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, too, the loading screen on Ori actually has Microsoft logo.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Which is like fucking weird. But it's indicative of their business model right now.
I played a portion of that game back when it was like really popular. Apparently, it's quite a sad story as well, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
I played about maybe a couple hours. It's really challenging, actually, really challenging. Yeah.
I've been wanting to check that out. I've been playing Dead Cells here and there, which I think is an ID game. I'm not sure. Because I'm not sure what games are part of the ID collection, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not familiar with that abbreviation or acronym.
Yeah, it's supposed to, it means like independent, and it tends to be independent studios.
Okay.
It's like their campaign for getting like all those independent games on the Xbox.
Yep.
And yeah.
Cool.
So I haven't looked into it in a while, but I think it's definitely a good thing for them to have. I would like to see more games come out of that, because I think the Xbox kind of lacked on this generation overall with indie games.
For just like the one?
For the one, yeah. The 360 knocked it out of the park.
Oh, it was probably the best that we've ever seen ever.
Yeah, in this generation, it's the Switch, in my opinion.
Yes.
Hands down.
Switch is making some big strides.
Yeah.
So that's it for the mailbag on Discord. Any other questions in the live chat?
Not that I've seen. Crystal was talking about getting a Switch. Hopefully she gets one. Let's see here.
Is anybody watching us?
We have 3 viewers right now. So hi to our viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Hello. This is the first time we've ever broadcast a podcast live on Instagram. It's also the first time I've ever used this recording equipment, which I keep checking to make sure it's still recording.
Yeah, Drew has basically the Titanic of equipment next to him.
But this is fun, man. Like, I kind of want to like build a studio in my basement.
I know. Like, I'm just sitting here like thinking about all these cool things that we could do, and this is just the start of it. So
I went to Guitar Center this afternoon to pick up an adapter for my headphone jack, and I was just like, I walked in, and like I'm a musician too, so you know I used to go in there all the time, play all the guitars, but I haven't played my guitar regularly in years, so like I'm embarrassed to pick up a guitar in front of anybody right now.
But you were that guy though. You were that guy that walked in Guitar Center like just taking the thing off.
Yeah, I went into the acoustic room. There was nobody in there, and I was just fucking around with like some Taylor and Marshall guitars. I picked up like a guitar that's worth like $1,500. I'm like, oh man, this feels great.
There's always that one guy though, like that is like that cool uncle that you see in like a Guitar Center, and they're playing like a pretty decently expensive guitar.
Yeah.
And they're playing like an Eric Clapton solo that like everybody knows.
Yeah.
And you know they're just trying to draw like a small crowd.
Totally.
And then like the manager comes over, he's like, you know what, man? You want to put that back? Or
no Stairway.
We could do a payment plan on that, but no Stairway. Yeah, it better not be Stairway next. But I think anybody who's gone in there knows what I'm saying. There's always that one guy, man. There's always.
So we got another question from Vency here. Have you downloaded Mario Kart Tour for mobile? No.
Mario Kart what?
Tour.
So
Nintendo made a mobile Mario Kart game.
Okay.
And it is highly predatory. Like, it's microtransactions up the ass.
Ooh. Sounds kind of, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but it seems typical of like a mobile game. I feel like anything that's such a smaller format, they're going to be asking for some money somewhere. No.
It's just, I think the problem is a Nintendo that's doing this. If it was, John Smith Productions, or something.
There's your ID
But
game.
but yeah, like Nintendo, like, you know, when they came out with Mario Run, like they charged $10 flat, and they're like no microtransactions, and nobody bought the fucking game. Like,
Weird.
because it's a mobile market, nobody wants to pay for games. So then they release this mobile game, and like their investors are like, okay, you guys got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fine, I guess we'll put microtransactions in it. And then they do, and everybody's up in arms because it's predatory. But like, if you want to play as like Luigi, you have to pay money to get his cart.
He's like a core classic character. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, I can say
I don't know.
in regard to Mario Kart, I had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch.
Yeah.
As you know, I recently traded that in, played it like once with Lauren, and it just didn't jive. I think it was because I had to switch over here, and when I docked it, it was only going to like this 27-inch monitor.
Right.
Yeah, big deal. Like, it's not 55 inches, but it just wasn't a great setup. So,
well, this isn't a comfortable place for, you know, anybody but one person.
But one person.
Like,
so.
you're like, look at this fucking chair you gave me. It's
Yeah, it's a.
This is like the kind of chair you put in a bathtub when you're old and you can't walk. It's got fucking holes in it for
You're
the
taking
water
one of
to
those
drain.
sit-down showers.
Yeah. And you have like this leather recliner with the
It's like
fucking
a $500 chair.
raised thing. So I mean, like, no wonder she didn't want to play any games with you. You probably gave her the
Yeah.
shower chair.
Yeah, I made a joke earlier that it's like the chair that you would see at a bank, like at the coloring table.
Yeah.
Which we thought was quite funny. But Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, fantastic version. We actually played that. I think it was on Sunday, and we had a blast, and we crushed it. Dude, we hadn't played in so long, and we were crushing it, getting stars, coming in, you know, first and second, which obviously will unlock stars and trophies and stuff for anybody who hasn't played. That's what you want to do. But yeah, no, my answer is no. I have not bought any other version of Mario Kart since Deluxe. So
yeah, I picked up Deluxe for the Switch as well. And Nikki and I played it for an afternoon and had a great time. I haven't played it since.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay.
No, it's okay because like that game is it really is timeless. There's not really a perfect time to play it. You just kind of play it. Like, you're not going to be missing out on anything. It's just, it is what it is. It's always just there.
Right.
And I think that we can all safely say that pretty much everybody enjoys that game. The arcade version is quite fun too.
Yeah.
It's very different, but
we have another question here from V Tawani. Will, have you played The Last of Us? If so, are you excited for part 2? I don't own a PlayStation, but that and an FF7 remake make me want to buy one.
Great questions. I can certainly happily answer. So Last of Us, quite an interesting story. I bought that game for PS3 back when it came out. In fact, I don't think I even bought it. I think it came with the PS3. It was like one of those bundles.
Yeah.
Mind you, they've been bundling that game with PlayStation 3s and 4s for like years now. I don't know how many times they've done it, but a lot. I played portions of the game. I could just never really get that far into it because I felt like it was a little bit slow for me.
Yeah.
And it was very drab.
Yep.
I know that it's an extremely popular game, but this is one of those popular games that I just simply don't think I like.
Yeah.
I want to like it so much because I love Troy Baker, the guy that does the voices now for a lot of different characters. He's like the next Nolan North. And he's in Death Stranding too, so I'm pretty excited for that. But I have it for PS4. I have the remastered version. Again, I played portions of that. Didn't get much further than before. I'm excited for the second one because it just looks good. I've watched a ton of videos on it. There's a lot of hype around it, but I just don't know if it's for me. It's a little bit too survival-like, which it obviously is, but I'm not so sure if those are the kind of games that I enjoy.
Right. I have a copy of the game for the PlayStation 3, and I played it for... I want to say I went through about at least a third of the game, maybe as far as half. I don't think I got further than that. I really don't remember where I left off. And it was a game that was given to me from a friend who had already gone through it. They were done with their copy, and they were like, you need to play this game. Here you go. And what I played of it was tremendous. I really enjoyed it. But I never finished it. And then, this is going to sound terrible because I don't even fucking remember for sure. But I think I bought a copy of it on the PlayStation 4.
I feel like everybody did.
Well, because the reason is Amazon was running a sale or some kind of a promotional credit where there were certain games that you could buy, and you would get like a $15 credit on it towards your Amazon account, or a $10 credit or something. And the game was the same price as the credit.
Okay.
So basically, I was getting a free game.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Yeah.
And it's still shrink wrapped.
Yep. Yep.
So, it's definitely on my must playlist. It's in my backlog. But this is like in the middle of me like trying to finish Horizon Zero Dawn and Spider-Man, and we've been down that road.
We've been down that road so many times.
So,
I think that's just inevitable for us at this point. But I just want to be able to I want to be able to enjoy the game like everybody else did, because people still talk about it to this day. In fact, the first one was just released again for like PS Plus, like as a free game, I think this month, just to kind of get ready for the second game. I mean, just graphics wise, I mean, there's so many positives that I have for this game, but I just don't know if it's for me. I remember playing the first game and just kind of grabbing a ladder, putting it on a roof or a building, going on the roof, grabbing Ellie or whoever my partner was, running around, grabbing a ladder. Like, it just, there was just nothing that was really grabbing me.
Yeah.
The story seems good. I like this idea of the clickers, and like it's sort of like a zombie sort of end of the world apocalypse, kind of situation. But I just think that kind of premise doesn't resonate with me that much. I just don't know why.
That's
okay. It just doesn't.
That's fine. Like, it happens.
Yeah, and like I said last podcast, I have to realize that is okay.
Right.
It's not that there's something wrong with me. It's just not really my type of game.
Right.
It's not a cool game for me.
It's not a cool game.
I need a cool game.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I'd like to circle back to it and finish it. I don't plan on buying Last of Us 2 on release day.
No.
Even if this game like grabs me by the balls, and just like, even if the first, like, I go back and I play it and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to buy it first day.
Yeah.
Because I have too many games and I'm a cheap bastard.
Yeah, it's going to be, obviously full price. It's going to be a long game. I'm not sure how long the first one was, but I'm imagining it's at least like 20 hours. Last of Us 2 is probably going to be longer, I would imagine. Cause
we'll have to check.
I doubt they're doing a third one. I mean, it's way too early to tell, but I'm thinking this is going to be at least 20, 30 hours, somewhere around
This
there.
is the same studio that did Uncharted, right?
Oh, yeah, Naughty Dog. Great studio. I mean,
Uncharted was fun.
Fantastic games.
I really enjoyed those games. I never finished 2, but I was really digging it.
2's outstanding. I haven't finished 3 yet, but 1 and 2, incredible games. I've played a good portion of 4 as well.
Got another one from Vency here. This one is also for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't like asking me questions, apparently. As a big Street Fighter fan, have you ever attended an EVO event? If not, what's stopping you?
Okay. I think just making having the dedication to just go. Usually EVO, I believe, is in Las Vegas every year. I generally will watch it pretty religiously.
Yeah.
Especially Street Fighter portions. I'm not really into some of the other games, but Street Fighter I usually always try to tune in, because I mean, it's just very eventful.
Yeah.
Super exciting. So what's stopping me is just really making that decision to go. Taking the time off, learning when it is every year, if it's changing dates or if it's the same dates. I just need to do it.
Right.
And maybe find somebody to go with, because I think I've wanted to go almost every year, but I've never really just taken the time to be like, hey, who wants to go? And I mean, it's kind of a big trip. Most conventions are fairly local for most of us, especially NYCC and Retro World, and things like that.
So bummed I didn't get to go to that.
I know, but Evo's a little bit of a larger deal and a larger expense, because you're flying across the country,
right?
And then getting in might be kind of difficult as well. So
that's the kind of thing you have to book out a year in advance.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more entailed, but I think that I will go at some point in my life, maybe next year, I would imagine at this point, because I think it's already over this year. So yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go, or if you want to go with me or Vic or whoever, I know you guys are big Street Fighter fans, so I would go with anybody. So
this one is say here, all right, Drew, calm your tits. Have you ever told your listeners about that random Nintendo event? I feel like we've shared this at some point. Are you familiar with how Vic and I crashed Nintendo
I am very
World
familiar.
Championships?
Very familiar.
So it's been a while since I've talked about it. I guess I'll discuss it on the show right now. This was at Comic-Con 2015? No, 2017. Comic-Con 2017.
Yep.
And we're on our way back from a panel at the Madison Square Garden. And as we're passing Hammerstein Ballroom, we see like all these Nintendo like logos on a barrier on the side of the building, right? And there's nobody around except like security guards. There's no line of people or nothing. So we go up to the security guard. We're like, hey, what's going on here? And the security guard tells us, it's like, oh yeah, it's Nintendo World Championships. We're like, what? Neither of us realized that they were revived that, you know?
Yeah.
So we like look at each other. We're like, can we go in?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, do you like video games? I'm like, yeah. Can you cheer for video games, like in a live setting? We're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So we look, it's me, him, and his fiance Nicole, and we're like, let's go. So they hand us badges, and they hand us a red towel which has Nintendo World Championships,
Sort of like a
rally towel.
Yeah.
Like you go to a baseball game, they give you the rally towels.
Sure.
And we go in and we take the elevator up to like the fourth floor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a guy, a bellhop, running the elevator because they have to do that there.
There was very much like a cow prodding kind of motion that you did there. Like,
this is the action of the guy pushing the button on the thing.
oh, okay.
And we go up to the where the ballroom is, and it's fucking like crowd of people in these seats, and they have this stage with like fucking Nintendo monitors everywhere.
Yeah.
Up on the top floor in the balcony, they had the commentary booth looking down, and like there's cameras everywhere, and it was fucking incredible. Like just cutthroat Nintendo like competition, all ages.
Yeah.
All ages, and they had a couple like semi-celebrities in there too. So Bailey from WWE was in there. Bless you.
Thank you.
I will not be able to edit that.
That's bullshit.
Bailey from WWE was there.
Yeah.
Asa Butterfield, who played Ender in Ender's Game,
Yes.
was there. Good actor. Apparently he's a fucking Nintendo whiz. Here we go. Mark for edit.
That's two.
That's number 2.
Yeah.
So he was there. I think Xavier Woods from WWE might have been there as well. You just sneezed all over that hand. What the
No, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And like, you know, it was just really incredible, like watching these people. And we sat there and watched, like, I think we came in like maybe in the middle of round 2, and we were there for like 3 more hours watching like just some of the best video game stuff we've ever seen. And the crazy thing is, man, like, there were games that were like so competitive, and we never even knew like they even had a competitive mode. Like one of the Super Mario Brothers games for the Game Boy, I think it was Super Mario World, has a multiplayer version where it's basically like screw your buddy. Like you're running through the level and you're trying to get to the end of the level as fast as possible.
Yep.
But you're running through it at the same time as your opponent is. So Mario and Luigi are against each other, and as you're going through the level, you can jump on like buttons that will trigger like a trap on the other side to prevent them from continuing.
This is a Game Boy game?
Game Boy, so it needed a Game Boy Link.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this was at the championship.
This is at the championships.
That's amazing. That kind of makes me wonder, like, we need to do a deep dive on maybe the next episode or a future episode on what Game Boy Link games were available and how they operated.
Yeah,
we need
that
to
would be a good
remember
topic.
That. If we don't remember this, folks, please let us know
Yeah.
on Discord, Instagram, Facebook. Let us know that we need to talk about Game Boy Link games.
That would be great.
Because that's
a great
an
topic.
interesting topic,
Yeah.
actually.
There was what else did they do? Oh, this is before Mario Odyssey came out. So the final battle for the championship was like a speed run to the boss of a stage in Mario Odyssey. So people
Wow.
have never seen this game in person before, never played it.
Odyssey.
And they're just like, here you go. Beat this guy first. It was awesome. So these people are like trying to figure out the mechanics of the game for the first time and everything.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
That's what an interesting, I mean, that's certainly right place, right time.
Yeah.
Kind of situation at its finest.
And the like the thing about it too is like, I think the way the games were structured, it was really taking advantage of people's natural ability to be good at games because they were choosing different types of games from all different genres with different game mechanics. And like it was really challenging to prove who is the best gamer, not who's the best at Tetris, who's the best at Mario Brothers or Mario World or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like who's the best gamer. And I thought that was really cool.
That is cool. And like I said, right place, right time. What a cool thing to just kind of walk into. That's very cool. And
actually, Vince, he just mentioned that he missed it because he went to go see Mark Hamill, who was just not a good show.
Well, see, that's just it, Vincey. Like, I get it. Mark Hamill was in like The Last Jedi or whatever the latest Star Wars movie was, or whatever. Is it the latest one or is it the one before the latest? I don't fucking know.
I lost track.
I wasn't a big fan of like the newer ones, but to me, Mark Hamill is kind of washed up, man. Like I love Star Wars, right? But like I'm also gonna feel or just kind of, I don't know, man. Who's Mark Hamill nowadays? Like I get it, like he's Luke Skywalker, but
right,
is he really that relevant now?
Right.
I feel like that's one of those kind of panels that like if he shows up at Comic-Con, everybody's like, oh yeah, that's Luke, but
what has he done lately?
But like, okay, like I mean, I guess I could say that like I met Luke Skywalker, but I don't know, man. It takes a lot for me to get hyped about like an appearance,
right?
And I feel like at a lot of those conventions, it's like famous people, but like not super famous. Where it's like it's like they were in like Lost, and you're like, okay, well, Lost was like a long time ago, so why are they here? Like, I feel like that's just something that happens sometimes.
Well, I mean, like Paul Rudd is going to be there. He's doing autographs.
He was Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, but he's been in a ton of movies.
Yeah.
He's a very successful comedian.
Who was there last year? I remember there was a couple people. Like Michelle Rodriguez was there, I think, from like Fast and Furious and like Lost.
They're doing a I think they're doing a Star Trek signing. Patrick Stewart's going to be there.
That's cool. I mean, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I think what it is for me is like, if you're going to have New York Comic Con, I want to see Nolan North. I want to see Troy Baker. I want to see maybe a fairly famous like game dev. Like, get some gaming people in there.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to get more gaming stuff, but I think Comic-Con as a whole is going through a bit of an identity crisis. And I don't mean just New York, but even San Diego.
You're right, because it's not just gaming.
And it's not comics.
It's not comics
anymore.
It's kind of like TV, film, video games, right?
Right.
Because like there was like a film or there was a TV show cast there last year.
There usually is. They usually have.
It was a Sci-Fi Channel show.
Well, I mean there's going to be a panel for The Expanse, which I'm super excited about.
That's pretty huge.
That's going to be Saturday in the morning. I already have a ticket confirmed for that. There's a Star Trek panel for both Discovery and Picard, which I'm going to like do everything in my power to be a part of. There's panels for Jack Ryan. There's panels for Walking Dead. Walking Dead has been the big one over the past few years, but I think since Rick Grimes is no longer part of the show, then it's kind of dropped off the map. Like it used to close Saturday at Comic-Con. Now I think it's opening.
Jack Ryan, I'm kind of intrigued in because, I mean, this is a guy that, played, what's his face in The Office?
Yeah. Jim Halpert.
Jim, who has some of the best expressions, I think, in a TV show ever. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to check out Jack Ryan. I think I saw something in the Discord about you guys talking about that panel.
Yeah.
And the fact that Josh Krasinski or whatever his name is.
John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Vency says, hoping I'm not keeping you guys here with all these questions. No, we got nothing better to do, man.
No.
Seriously, though, we're just recording. We don't even have a show.
We don't have a show. We're just riding this through, so.
Calling it in the ring. So speaking of these video game championships, what do you guys think about gaming as a job? Do you have to be really good?
Gaming as a job.
I don't think you have to be good anymore. I don't think it matters. I think with Twitch and Mixer and streaming, it's more about your personality than anything.
I agree. I feel like you really nailed it with that. Like, I think Damien has a lot of opportunity as a personal example.
Yeah.
Damien has the perfect personality, I think, for streaming, because you have to be confident and you have to be comfortable with people watching and listening to you, and that's something that a lot of people are not confident in. So I think if you have that and you're like a decent gamer, because I think people will tune out if you're like horrible. However, a really good personality can really go a long way, and it can help you like get past some of that as well.
If you're the type of gamer who's like constantly dying, I think if there's something you could pull out of that to entertain people, like make it funny, make it humorous, make a game out of it.
Yeah, let's just say, like, in theory, you call yourself like the worst gamer or something like that. Like, that's your handle, that's your whole bit.
Yeah.
Then you can turn that into a comedic thing. But
totally.
No, you're absolutely right, man. I think personality is what people are looking for. They want to be entertained.
Yeah, people don't come back to watch you beat a game. They come back to watch you. Period.
I don't think really anybody's like YouTubing, like, best Sekiro player or whatever. No. Like, people don't really want to see high level gameplay. If they want to see that, they're going to go to Evo. Like, that's where you want to see high level stuff, is in very competitive games. But when you're playing something like Borderlands 3, like Damien is, we're not looking for the guy who's speedrunning the game. We just want to see somebody who can make this game entertaining and make me want to potentially buy it.
Right.
And Damien's done that to me. Like, he's played some games that are like, I kind of want to like buy this now.
Right.
Because he makes it interesting. He makes it entertaining. So overall, I agree with you, man. I think that to be successful, or do you have to be good? Not necessarily. Yeah. I think this is about personality.
Totally. I think that's it for the questions.
I think so. Yeah. Unless anybody else chimes in, before we wrap up, then please let us know.
Last call, Vinci. Last call.
Well, yeah. Because we certainly had the most.
We're at about an hour's worth of podcasting at this point, so we should wrap it up.
How many viewers?
2.
2. Okay. Wherever the other person
is. I think we were able to get Crystal to join the chat, so thank you for jumping in Discord, Crystal. I appreciate it. I did get a notification that she had joined, so that's cool. And yeah, man, that's about it, I think. So we got everybody. Make sure you check out our brand new website, which is very much a work in progress, but we have some content already up on there. WDGRPodcast.com. Man, that feels weird to say.
It does. We're already there.
And, we have our episodes will be up there right now. I only have a few of the most recent ones, but the entire back catalog will be up on there at some point with some really cool images. Hopefully you guys will be able to check those out. Last time I posted one, Joe drew a big X.
Yeah. Through Bastion, yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's good with that kind of stuff.
I have no idea what the image is going to be for tonight's episode.
I have no idea.
Maybe Goose Game and Nintendo World
Goose Game, or like just a weird potato phone picture of the Tascam.
Potato phone picture, yeah.
Of the Tascam, yeah, just like a shitty blurry photo.
Yeah, I like it. So we got that. We got our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook at WDGR Podcast. It's at WDGR Podcast. You can follow me on social media at ScienceStorm. How can they find you?
Will_gear.
And if you're going to be at New York Comic Con on Saturday, this episode will drop on Friday. So Saturday the 5th, if you're going to be there, and you know what I look like, keep an eye out for me.
Yep, look out for Drew.
If you're going to be, if you're listening to this for the first time and you don't know what I look like, shoot me a message on Discord and or Twitter. Shoot me a message on Twitter too, either through the podcast or excuse me, the beer is really getting me. You can shoot me a message on Discord, Twitter, either to ScienceStorm or WDGR Podcast, or email us wdgrpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll try to link up, give you one of our cards, because I'm going to be sharing those with anybody that'll take one.
Yeah, and funnily enough, if you actually go on our Instagram and you scroll all the way down to some of our first posts, there's actually a picture of the two of us on there.
Yeah.
So that's another way, if you want to see Drew's fine mug, then that's another way to kind of look out for him. So
yeah, I had to relocate these because Vinci just noticed the Ken one.
Yep, we got Ken. We have Dragonborn here. I love Pixel Pals. This is kind of my collector's piece. I don't do the pops like you, Vency. I just there's too many. Whereas Pixel Pals, it's a little bit more feasible for me to purchase them. I also have Akuma and Ryu, who are not pictured.
I can take this same pattern and do like a bead sprite out of it.
Yeah, and I love that too. I love how you have like an old school iron for that too.
Super, super fun. I haven't done one of those in a while.
Yeah, these things are cool. I remember at one point I was using Ken as a way to represent that I was recording, which kind of a funny thing. But so before we wrap up, Drew, what game are we playing this week to wrap up the week?
For us or for the podcast?
Personally,
I really want to put the nail in the coffin in Goose Game.
Okay.
I want to finish that up because it's so short, and just like your plan was, just kind of keep the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And once I finish Goose Game, I think I'm going to go back to Control.
Okay.
That game is really engrossing.
Yeah.
And I hit a bit of a wall with it, and I'm not really sure where to go, so I kind of got to backtrack and figure that out.
Fair enough. For me, it's going to be trying to beat that stage in Strider. If not, I'm going to keep going right back to Skyrim because it's a great fallback measure for me, and quite honestly, that game amazes me every single time I play it. So.
One final question for you.
Yeah.
Would you buy Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch?
No.
Okay.
And I'll explain on the next episode.
Teaser.
A little teaser. Yeah.
We're going to forget this.
It's a long answer.
We're definitely going to forget to ask this.
We're probably going to forget. Yeah. Thanks to my Mexican mules here. Mexican-style mules.
All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. See ya.